According to my compass, this way is north, this way is south, and east and west are here and here.
But without a map, that doesn't really help us.
But you know what? We can determine our precise location using an analog watch. We just need to know the true local time. Do you know the true local time?
I have another idea. Let's ask George to climb a tree and... Oh no, I left George in the tree. George! Where are you? George!
George wished he could think of a way to get the branches back on the tree. He needed something sticky. Really sticky. Like... mud. Another great monkey invention. The tree wrecking man was coming back, and he'd probably want to keep on wrecking.
You are one crazy monkey. I haven't run like that since... Hey, where's my lopper? That thing I was cutting branches with?
George, can you hear me? George! George! Oh, thank goodness I found you. Oh, I'm sorry I left you in that tree. Oh, Dr. Greenbean, nice to see you. Sorry we're late. We've had a rough day.
Tell me about it. First this monkey ran off with my hat, and now my tree lopper has vanished. Hey, what's going on? Who put mud on this?
George? Ah, so Dr. Greenbean was cutting some branches, and you thought he was hurting the tree.
Ah, you should have asked. Oh, wait, you're a monkey. Well, anyway, this is called pruning. You make a careful cut, and it doesn't hurt the tree at all.
He's right, George. I've pruned many a tree in my day.
You see, George, too many branches are bad news. They block the sun, and then the fruit can't grow.
But hey, I'm proud of you, George. You behaved just like an honorary sprout. In fact, I would say your effort on behalf of trees qualifies you for full sprout status.
Great, George! Nice work for a city kid.
Okay, Sprouts. Let's go get some lunch, and Dr. Greenbean can tell us everything he knows about trees. Bill, are you coming?
In a minute. I'm still trying to figure out where we are.
Oh, huh.
A job well done, George moved on. It was a big city, and he had a lot to clean up. Every day when the nice lady threw birdseed, Compass flew off to tell his friends it was lunchtime.
George? Anybody seen a monkey carrying a vacuum cleaner?
Is he wearing a cape?
I don't know. Could there be more than one monkey with a vacuum in the city? Oh, I've got to find George before he empties that bag. I wonder how much stuff it can hold.
Did a monkey in a cape just take our jacks?
A monkey with a vacuum just vacuumed up my winning lottery ticket.
George was a happy hero, thinking of all the animals and people he had made happy.
George, come back!
Why wasn't it working? What good is a superhero without a vacuum cleaner?
When the bag is filled, you empty it into a garbage can and start again.
Of course. It was time to empty the bag. And there was the perfect place to get rid of everything that was in it.
George!
George saw everyone he had helped today running towards him. They must be coming to thank him.
George, have you emptied this bag at all today?
George was happy to be of service.
I'm happy to say they're all there.
Thanks. George, would you like to vacuum my place? I have lots of valuable, dusty collectibles.
Valuable collectibles? Sorry, gotta go now. Bye. George!
Maybe it swam back home. George remembered he'd seen big tracks like these in a book. There they were, dinosaur tracks. A duck-billed dinosaur. George got a photo of Jumpy by leaving out food. Couldn't he do the same with a dinosaur? What a prize photo that would be. He didn't have any dinosaur food, but maybe they would like fruits and vegetables.
Hi, George.
George, I saw that fawn in the hills, but I couldn't find you. Hey, you coming swimming?
George was thinking about something bigger than a fawn. Much bigger. Those tracks couldn't possibly belong to a meat-eating dinosaur, could they? Could that be the dinosaur? George decided to warn the man with the yellow hat that a hungry dinosaur might be visiting. dinosaur had returned from the water. And the tracks were headed towards Bill's house.
Hiya, George. Did you see the fawn? Yeah, I guess those do look like dinosaur tracks. Yep. My new boots were hurting my feet, so I put these on to walk to the lake. I told you I was going swimming, remember? Hey, now I know what it's like to walk in a dinosaur's footsteps.
With no hungry dinosaurs around, George still needed that special photo for Nature Week. It sounded like Jumpy was hungry again. But George had enough pictures of that squirrel. For such big animals, those deer left pretty small tracks.
Hey, deer tracks. Wow, you used fruits and vegetables to lure the deer to our house so you could take photos?
Look at these wonderful deer. Oh, how did you manage to capture such amazing photos, George?
Oh, you know George, he just used his imagination. Isn't that right?
George decided to experiment with different amounts of each ingredient. He used a big piece of paper to keep track. Not berry enough. So George added strawberries. Too sweet. George added more peppers. It still wasn't right. And it certainly didn't pass the Hundley test. Maybe George needed more of these things. Close, but George thought more apples might help. George's juice was perfect. Well, almost. It still needed a special secret ingredient. Where could he find one of those?
Hello, Giorgio. See, can I interest you in today's special?
Special? That's exactly what he was looking for.
It's eggplant piccata, with extra amounts of piccata. Oh, those are radishes. Try one, try one. Oh, but careful. Radishes are a little speziato. That means spicy.
Radishes were spicy. But spicy might be good in a drink.
I know. Help yourself, Georgie. Just the radishes? Bye-bye.
George hoped that one radish would do the trick. George had done it. His juice was just as good as Juicy J's. Better even.
George! Oh, no. Oh, have you been making juice? Oh my goodness, this juice is amazing! Yeah!
George thought his juice was so delicious, he decided to give it away at the next farmer's market.
Get your George juice. It's made with apples for strong bones, cabbage for vitamin C, and a bunch of other healthy stuff.
Oh, thanks. Oh, this is fantastic. Can I get the recipe?
Sure. George started with your juice, but added a few new ingredients.
A radish? Oh, that is brilliant! A revolution in juice making! To George and his delicious George juice!
The cerulean warbler was his favorite. Which is why today was so important.
Well, Director, here's the book. Everything you ever wanted to know about the cerulean warbler in just 1,400 pages.
Very impressive.
I want everyone to know that the warbler is endangered. There aren't many left. Hopefully, this will do the trick.
Oh, a book like this will help get the word out. How's it selling?
Not so well. We were hoping you could give them to all the bird lovers who come here to the aviary.
Sure. How many?
Just a few. 100?
Well, it's a very important topic, so I'll see what I can do.
Thanks. I have another plan for spreading the bird word, George. I'm meeting today with Lance Libro. He owns a big chain of bookstores. And you know what I'm gonna say? Mr. Libro, the cerulean warbler needs your help. You must carry my book. Oh, boy.
Later that morning, George was still thinking about the warbler and the fact that their bathtub was filled with books.
Lemonade! Get your free lemonade!
Say, can I have another?
Gosh, this is wonderful.
The best ever!
Hey, George, you know why they call me the Lemonade King? Free samples. Once people try this stuff, they're hooked. They can't get enough, and they bring back their friends.
This is the best ever. I'll take 2, please.
Wow, sure.
That gave George an idea. If people got free samples of the man's book, maybe they'd give some to their friends, too. That'd be a great way to spread the bird word.
What you got there? Ah, the man's warbler book? With each lemonade, you're going to give a free book? In business, we call that a 2-for-1. Can't miss.
But not everyone who wanted lemonade wanted a book. Either it didn't fit on a bicycle, or it was too yellow, or they didn't know how to read.
Another great sales day for the king. How'd you do? Looks like you need to reach more people. You should advertise. Huh? It That means show what you got so people know you're here. Check out my sign. That's the idea. You just need to put the sign where a lot of people can see it. Now you're talking. People will see that for miles. Want some help? Yeah. Okay, so we need to paint something that'll really grab people. A picture with pizzazz.
Don't worry, George, your duckling will adapt. This is Bill, signing off until tomorrow.
The next morning, George was eager to see how his duckling was doing with his new duck family.
Here we are, on day 2 of the Duckling Chronicles. Look at that! The 4th duckling is with it. Oops, spoke too soon. The duckling still thinks George is its mother.
George had to show the duckling that monkeys are one thing and ducks are another.
You make an excellent duckling, George.
This was getting nowhere. George decided to try another approach.
Farmer Life magazine? How is that going to help?
George wanted to show the duckling that in a typical duck family, there aren't any monkeys. That wasn't working either. Maybe if George showed him how to act, the duckling would get the idea.
It looks like George is trying the make like a duck maneuver. Uh-oh. Hooray for the dumpling! Oh, I should get this on tape. You're watching Dumpling Duck saving her baby like only a mother duck can. And so, the ducklings were brought together by this daring rescue and by the kid from the city who helped to hatch them.
Fantastic!
This is Bill and the City Kid. Bringing you one totally happy ending.
bigger than that. No, bigger still. That's it! Oh, thank you, Giorgio. You know, I got to get some cookbooks too, so I'll check this out up front. Bye-bye, little buddy. I mean, bye-bye, little buddy.
Organizing books by color didn't seem to work. Maybe they should be organized by size instead. Little books, medium books, big books, humongous books. George had fixed the library again.
George, what happened? The books are all messed up. Come here, I'll show you. This is where all the outer space books are supposed to be. But instead, you've got bunny books, train books, bug books, pink pony books. Where are all the outer space books?
George tried to explain to Steve how he had organized all the books.
Did you arrange all the books by size? That's amazing! But I don't think that's the way libraries work. See, outer space books are supposed to go on this shelf, and books about dinosaurs go on that shelf, and all the other books, I don't know where they go.
George wondered, if outer space books all go together and dinosaur books all go together, well, then maybe train books go with other train books, no matter what size or color they are.
Yeah, train books probably go together. Hey, I get it. Maybe all the books are organized by subject. Cool. Yeah, you've got a lot of rearranging to do. But don't worry, I'll help. We did it! The books are back in the right order. Great job, you hairy librarian.
I'm back, George. My, it looks neat as a pin in here.
All the books are back where they should be, on the shelves according to their subject. Right?
Well, mostly right. Books are typically arranged by subject, then by author alphabetically. Except storybooks. They go together by author. I'm sure I can put things right in no time.
Great.
Sounds like you did a great job, George. Hey, maybe you'd like to help out at the library every Saturday.
Helping Mrs. Dewey was fun, but exhausting.
Yoo-hoo, George! You forgot your book!
On the other hand, only a librarian would give you Adventurous Henry for another 2 weeks. What could be better than that? They found the wagon, but Jade was gone. And now she had a million places to hide.
Hi, George. Oh, what happened here? Oh, boy. Hey, Jade. Well, I don't know where George went, but I have to get you to the zoo. I can't be late for Professor Chroma.
George knew he couldn't look everywhere for Jade. He needed a plan. In the apartment, Jade had hidden in 3 places: under the couch, on top of the lamp, and behind the radiator. They were all places George couldn't reach. They were also warm places. Maybe Jade liked to be warm. Maybe that's where George should look. The popcorn popper was warm. But Jade wasn't there. The vegetable barbecue also had heat, but it didn't have Jade. Was there a warm place that George had missed? Now all George had to do was put Jade back in her cage. The cage was gone. That meant that the man had taken Squeaky to the zoo instead of Jade.
Hey, George, what's the rush? Sounds exciting. Well, hop on.
Meanwhile, the man with the yellow hat had just finished telling the dramatic story of Jade's rescue.
And now I would like to examine Jade. If she is the rare chameleon that you say, then, and only then, can she stay.
Well, of course. Squeaky?
What was that sound?
What? The squeak? Oh, hey, let's all go to lunch, huh? I don't know about you, but I'm starving.
The chameleon, please. Show me the chameleon.
Oh, okay. George?
Let me see. Well, it's... perhaps... Yes! This is the chameleon we've been hoping for! Oh, welcome, Jade, to the zoo.
George had discovered a big difference between the city and the country. Cement. Then he found some dirt. George remembered that a well didn't need to be wide, it just needed to be deep. The ground was wet. At this rate, George should hit water very soon. George had water. What he didn't have was a way to get it out of the ground. George needed something that would suck up the water, like a pump. A straw sucks up water, but you need a mouth at the top. But the man's turkey baster might work.
A monkey with a turkey baster? It's not Thanksgiving, is it?
At this rate, filling the bathtub would take forever. George remembered that people used pipes to carry water from their wells. So that's what George needed, a very long pipe. George ran the hose from the bathtub down to his well. How could George attach the hose to the baster? The water came into the baster from the bottom, so George needed some way to connect the hose to the side. Maybe this would work. With duct tape, anything was possible. It worked. The water was going up the straw. At this rate, George would have his bathtub filled in no time. Except the well was out of water. George had to dig a deeper hole. George had struck a mother load of water.
Water spurting up 20 feet in the middle of the city? Not a good sign.
See, the whole reason we turned the water off was to figure out why we were losing pressure.
Turns out the water main leading to the building had a crack in it.
I still don't know how George discovered the water main or the crack, but it's a good thing you did.
Well, I have to say, George, you haven't looked this clean in days. When you take a bath, you really take a bath.
Using the detector, George found lots of metal things. But none of them was Yorbo.
Batteries are dead. I'll have to recharge them, but I'll bring this back tomorrow in case you're still looking. Bye now.
Thank you.
George couldn't wait for tomorrow. He had to find Yorbo before he rusted.
That's probably Professor Wiseman. Maybe she can think of something.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
I heard there was a storm, so I thought I'd check in. Oh, what's wrong?
Well, George can't find his robot. It's buried in the sand.
Is it made of metal? You could try using a metal detector.
We borrowed one, but it ran out of batteries.
Well, metal detectors are easy to make. Sure. First, grab the portable radio from the shelf.
Okay. AM/FM radio, check.
Next, find the calculator, bottom drawer on the desk. Then get some tape, a top drawer on the desk. Now, take the radio and switch it to AM.
Okay.
Then turn the knob all the way to the highest radio station number, but make sure you get static and not an actual station. Turn up the volume, then turn on the calculator and tape it to the radio.
Fantastic.
You see, the radio and calculator act as a magnet. When it finds things that would stick to a magnet, the radio beeps.
That's amazing. I can't believe you knew that.
Well, how do you think I won first place in my second grade science fair?
George was confused. He had already searched half the beach. But which half? If only the beach were smaller. Then George remembered tic-tac-toe. He could break up the beach into smaller sections, like a tic-tac-toe board. If George could mark off the squares he searched, then he'd know where he'd looked and where he needed to look.
Hi, George. You want to make a grid to help you keep track of your search? Oh, great idea, George. All set. Let me know if you need anything.
If George searched every square, then he'd be sure to find Yorbo. In square number 4, George found a trumpet. In square 6, George found a front grille to a '57 Cadillac. But by square number 8, there was still no sign of Yorbo.
No luck, huh?
Yorbo had to be in this last square. He had to.
Way to go, George! You found him!
Yorbo is great, yes?
Have fun! Well, I guess this means I can get back to the thrilling conclusion of my book. Oh well. Wait for me!
On sunny, snowy days,
No!
George usually got up bright and early. But this day, he discovered that Bill had gotten up even brighter and earlier.
Hey, George! Snow blocks. I'm building a house out of snow, although the correct term is igloo. Yep. I'm trying to earn my Sprout badge in winter camping. And to do that, I have to build an igloo and sleep in it overnight.
Suddenly, that was exactly what George wanted to do. Build an igloo and sleep in it, just like Bill.
You want to help me? And sleep in the igloo, too? Why not? Let's get started. George, that's not the proper technique. Guess I better show you. City kids probably don't know much about non-mortar construction. See, the first thing you do is mark a circle in the snow. That's your foundation. Then you take the biggest blocks and fit them together like this.
Bill showed George how to build up the igloo walls block by block, making sure that the top layer overlapped the bottom.
And when we're all done, we can just smooth out the inside.
As they built it up, the igloo started to look like a volleyball cut in half.
See? We keep shaping these blocks and put them all the way around until there's just a small hole left in the center. And we fill that with a large block called a keystone. You have to cram it in so it'll hold the walls in place. Now, I'll just make a few air holes. And once we fill all these cracks with snow, it'll stay pretty warm. Yep, we're done. Let's go check it out.
George was so excited. He had never been in an igloo before. The inside of the igloo was smaller than George thought. He had wanted a fun igloo. One that was big enough for a bed and a tuba and his friends. Sort of like his room, only better.
You want to build your own igloo? Sure, I wish I could help you, but I gotta fill up these cracks and then do my chores.
So George started on his second igloo of the day with help from the man with the yellow cap. But this time, he built it wider and taller and brought in some furniture.
Wow, good window. Are you sure you want to spend the night in here, George? Okie doke. I guess it's time to make the cocoa.
Hey, George, how's it? Whoa, this is huge. You put a bed in here? And a sofa? Wow. The only thing is, it might get cold at night. The bigger the igloo, the colder it gets.
George wasn't worried. He figured he'd just wear his coat to bed. Today was a busy day at George's apartment. Professor Wiseman was coming to dinner, and the man with the yellow hat wanted everything to be just right.
I have an idea. Why don't I finish getting the apartment ready and you go to the store? Great. Let's make a list. Okay, I need carrots for my famous carrot cake. Cucumbers for my famous cucumber soup. And apples for my famous bowl of apples. Here's a bag and some money, George, and have fun. Bye-bye.
When George got to their favorite store, it was closed. The grocer was on his annual fishing trip.
Welcome to Hua Mai Grocery and Takeout. It's our grand opening.
Our first customer. We are selling Vietnamese food. Please, try a sample. Cha yo. It's a spring roll.
Come on in and... Clean up on aisle 3.
George thought the food looked delicious, and the store looked beautiful. But the fruits and vegetables looked different somehow. This was green and long and bumpy. Must be a cucumber. Next on the list, red round apples. this looked like an apple. Now all George needed to find were the carrots. Were these carrots? George didn't know for sure, but they looked like carrots and were bunched up like carrots.
Ah, customer number 1. You ready? Let's see. You have a kokwa, some fatu, and a few taklu. Very good choices. Here you are. Thank you very much. How was school today, Mai?
Great, Dad. But who was that?
Our very first customer.
Our first customer was a monkey? Cool.
Oh, great. Did you find everything? Oh. But this is a pomegranate, George, not an apple.
Huh?
Yes, and I don't know what these other things are. Thanks, George.
George decided that this time, he'd ask for help.
You're back. Hi. My name's Mai. Can I help you? Fatu, taklu, and kogwa. Yum! But didn't you just buy these? Is that an alligator? I'm sorry. I can't read this.
In spring, good gardeners can't wait to get things growing.
Need any more help? Okay. I have to go help Professor Wiseman design her new terrarium. Bye, George.
George had his seed system set. First, he dug a hole. Then he planted some seeds. Then he covered the hole. Compass had a seed system too, but he didn't plant seeds. He ate them. He thought it was awfully nice of George to put out a pigeon buffet. Compass thought this restaurant had weird rules. Maybe they weren't supposed to eat the seeds until George was finished. Or maybe you weren't supposed to eat while George was around. George wished there were two of him. And then he remembered. Farmer Rankins protected his garden from the birds with a scarecrow. So George decided to make a scarecrow too. Only, it wasn't very scary. Maybe the birds were only scared away when something was moving. That was it. But how could he get it to move? He also needed more seeds. Seeds were easy. Making a scarecrow move was hard.
I heard a guy named Quixote opened a new bakery up ahead. Hungry?
It was the biggest pinwheel George had ever seen.
Pretty neat, huh? It's a windmill.
Yup. It grinds my grain for me. Let me show you how it works. When the wind blows, it pushes the sails, just like wind pushes a sailboat along the water. But since sails are attached to the mill, instead of moving forward, they spin around.